Hello, everybody, and welcome back for a very special Banking App Insights session with Touchpoint Group. Today, yet again, we have what is becoming a familiar face, Yazid Kakaria, our Global Head of AI Analytics and CX Strategy. And Yazid, we have been tracking over 100 banks and analysed over 1 million reviews across the world. And today is really special because we're looking at the Indian market for the first time. So tell us about what we're going to look at today.
Sure. Thanks, Glenn. Yes, it is exciting indeed to be reviewing the performance of Indian banking apps for the first time using our AI-powered analytics platform, Ipiphany. Due to the high volume of app users in India, the number of reviews received is also much larger compared to other markets as we see. And this can be really a daunting task for insights and analytics teams. So today we are going to use our platform to analyze high volumes of data really quickly and effectively. So Glenn, today we'll be focusing on the performance of 4 private sector banks in India, which is ICICI Bank, HDFC, Kotak Bank, and Axis Bank, with a special focus on Kotak Bank since there has been a sharp decline in their user experience in January. So before I go into the details and start explaining what's going on with these banks, I'd just like to explain the concept of engaged customer score. So here in this data, we are reviewing the online performance of all these banks based on the online reviews received on Google Play and App Store. So all those who have given a rating on a scale of 1 to 5 and have given a comment to explain that rating, that's the sample size that we'll be analyzing today. We call them engaged customers, and the feedback shared by them is very valuable in helping us understand how these banks are performing. So my screen should be visible to the audience now. So right now on my screen, we have 2 banks over here. We have Axis Bank and we have ICICI Bank. So here we are looking at the engaged customer score for Axis Bank to start off with. And we can see that Axis Bank has consistently performed in a higher range. They've been over 3.5 throughout the last 12 months. And in fact, in the last 3 months, from November 23 to Jan 24, they have been improving gradually, which is a good sign. On the other hand, we take a look at ICICI Bank over here. So they started off the year in a slightly lower range compared to Axis, and then they had a sharp drop in April, and then they recovered from that drop, and then the scores were quite consistent. But even ICICI Bank has a drop in January, as we can see over here. It's dropped from 3.3 to 3.1, the engaged customer rating. The next bank that we have is HDFC Bank, and this is quite interesting because HDFC Bank started off the last year, 2023, in a lower range compared to ICICI Bank, and for the first half of 2023, they continued to remain in the range of about 2.5 to 3.2, and then they had a major setback in September, as we can see, when their score almost dropped to 1.5. It's 1.6 in September. However, the interesting thing is the recovery. They have very sharply recovered in October, and since October, they have had a score in the range of about 3.4 to 3.5. And guess what? In Jan 2024, they actually have an edge over ICICI Bank in December and Jan, in fact, both the months. The last bank in the mix over here is Kotak Bank. So with Kotak Bank, as we can see, they started off last year around the range of 3, and then the performance has gradually declined until August. As we can see, the engaged customer score, the blue line, has dropped. Then there has been some recovery until November, and then there was a marginal decline in December, but a very sharp drop in January. So today, we are going to be focusing on Kotak Bank, and today's objective is to understand why the score has dropped from 3 in December to 2 in January.
Well, now that has to be the lowest point that they have been in over the last 12 months. And looking at over 160,000 reviews, to have an average of 2 out of 5 means that there are a significant amount of engaged customers that are rating them under 2. That's meaning giving them a score of 1 out of 5. So let's look at that.
Sure, Glenn, you're right. And to answer this question and analyze this a little more in detail, I will just take a moment to explain to our viewers the concept of foundational pillars, which we will be using to analyze this data. So based on all the hard work that we have done in terms of collecting and analyzing online app reviews feedback in the last few years, we have arrived at this framework which contains 4 pillars. So for any bank to perform well, or any banking customers to have a good user experience with the banking app, it's necessary that the app performs well across these 4 pillars. First one being authentication, second one being design and UI, then we have reliability and stability, and of course features and functionality of the app. Now, this is the framework that we will be using now to understand the decline in Kotak Bank's score. And there's a lot of detail within each of these pillars as well that we will be uncovering in this session. So here, I'll take a moment to explain this particular page. So in this visualization, we can see how the Kotak banking app's performance has, the trend over the last 6 months, starting from August. And here, we can see that in December, we received about 1,500 reviews from Kotak banking app users. And then in Jan, we received about 3,200 reviews. Now, generally, the number of reviews spike up when there's a sharp contrast in user experience, and that's what we are seeing over here. So the user experience has declined as the engaged customer score has dropped from 2 to 2, and the number of reviews received in January have more than doubled. So the foundational pillars that we saw in the previous visualization, we can see them lined up over here on the left-hand side of my screen. And what we are doing here is we are looking at the pain points. So anyone from Kotak who's used the Kotak mobile banking app and has shared negative feedback, that's what we are capturing over here through these foundational pillars. So here we can see that in January, about 55% users have complained about reliability and stability related issues, and about 1 in 4 have complained about authentication related issues. And here we can see that both these pillars, there is a sharp increase in these pain points in comparison to December. Yes, let's take a deeper look and see what happened over here. So to get that, Glenn, what we will do is we're just taking a look at what happened in December and Jan. So here we've split the data on a daily basis, and we can see that the app version 5.5.2 was the dominant version in December. And then
what was the trigger for this?
The end of first week of Jan, 5.5.3 overtook the previous version in terms of the number of reviews that we received. And when we analyze the results in greater detail, we realize that the issues or the problems were coming from this particular version of the app, which is 5.5.3 over here.
Great. And can we see how these two versions compare in terms of actual user experience?
Yes, definitely, Glenn. So in order to do that, what we will do is we'll go to our foundational pillars again and compare version 5.5.2 versus 5.5.3. So to start off with, we can see that the engaged customer score or the user experience for this 5.5.2 is about 3, whereas the engaged customer score for 5.5.3 is just 1.8. So straight away, we can see that there's a sharp contrast in the ratings that customers have given us. To understand this better, we are going to compare the performance across our 4 pillars. And straight away, we can see over here that users of the latest version, which is 5.5.3, are very much more likely to complain about reliability and authentication related issues compared to the earlier version. There's a sharp increase over here, almost an increase of about 3x in terms of authentication related issues, and also a very sharp increase in terms of reliability related issues. And to understand this a little more in detail, Glenn, what we will do is we'll go to our pain points over here to try and see where this is coming from. So here I can see a lot of customers are talking about the app update. So with the earlier version, there were only 4% customers who were referencing app update related feedback. But here, this has increased 5 times with the launch of the new version. So a lot of customers are talking about the poor app update which has happened. And what we can do is we can click on this and get some additional detail in terms of what is it that customers are talking about with regards to the latest update, that's 5.5.3. So Glenn, recently we have added a new function to our analytics platform, and that's integrating our findings with ChatGPT. So what you see on the right-hand side over here is a summary that ChatGPT provides based on all the comments under the topic poor app update. So here we can see a descriptive summary, app not opening after the update, reinstallation required for the app to work, slow loading and performance related issues, login related issues, and general negative feedback on the latest update. So these are the different themes which are coming up with regards to the app update. And here we have a few other visualizations as well to talk about it in greater detail. So what I can do is I can click on any one of these and it takes me straight away to the comments. And here I can add some additional details like the brand, version number, review date, etc. to get some additional context. So now you're getting all the actual comments that users have shared on App Store and Google Play with regards to this latest version of Kotak Banking app. And here are the pain points that they have expressed with regards to the latest version.
Wow, thanks so much for sharing that, Yazad. And I particularly like the daily view where you could literally see the changes to the minutest detail when the latest app was released, latest app version was released. So this is incredible insights. I really appreciate it.
Yes, Glenn. When you're receiving about 150 reviews on a daily basis, you really need to analyze it quickly. And in such turbulent times, the number of reviews even increase to an entirely new level. So in such key situations, we need to act fast. So the banking teams, the product team, and the insights team need to get onto this and analyze this quickly. So here in this case, our data gets analyzed real time. So we have set up connections at the back end which are pulling this information real time for our customers. So that helps our teams, our client teams, to stay on top of this. Because what you don't want is a recovery period that stretches across months. You want a really sharp and short recovery period, and you want to get your app up there along with competition and even exceed competition in some ways.
Absolutely. And the faster you can understand the root cause of any problem, the faster you can take action. So a great walkthrough, great visualization of what's happening in the Indian market, especially in regards to Kotak Bank. I appreciate you taking the time yet again, Yazad, and we look forward to the next session where we spend some more time together.
Thanks, Glenn.